This is Inflewence, and today I have excavator and bulldozer, giant legion, mech invasions, constructicons, and this is their last set, but only the second set for me. I'm still waiting on the reissue of the first set before I can form Devastator, so there will be no combine mode in this video. I'll do that when I do Devastator. Take a look. We have this. Not much in the way of accessories. They have guns that are stored, and I will show them in a minute, but we'll see these guys. See side swipe, and I mean, they're par for the course. They're chug. They have the size of, you know, they're about as tall as MP, but that don't mean they're MP. They're definitely chug, and I think Devastator is about chug size too, not MP size. So take that with what you will.
Transformers reviews, tech and the news, whatever else I use as a muse. Hit subscribe, I appreciate the views. Influences interest on YouTube.
I know the big thing with these are how good they are for the money. And yes, you need to talk about that. You need to talk about how much they are. And they're, I think each set was like 85, 89, something like that.
Subscribe.
Let me keep seeing things that I didn't do when I transformed. Yeah, so I mean, they're great. I'm doing both these guys together since they came together. They have the tempos still. They have the blue windows. I do like the blue windows. They're all stylized, but this one is a little well, no, I think this is weirder to me, and probably the least one that I like so far that I've seen. I did see the first two, I just don't have them. But this guy's all right. I mean, he's stylized too. You can see how he looks, and yeah, I mean, it's nice. Has all the stylings and the tempos. Has little tabs. I'm thinking maybe some 5mm stuff can peg in if you got your other figures, since he's right here in negative. Okay, so I was wrong. Maybe it must not be 5mm. It must be a little bit smaller. That's probably for Devastator. Let's just scratch that. I ain't gonna cut it out. But yeah, you can see, got tempos here, and see this guy here. He has this moves like this. Might as well go through articulation while it's on the ground. You can see it can go way out. Get the scoop going on. You get the scoop here, up and down. This does turn, and you can keep it like that. It's like parked or something. Or if you're trying to scoop something out this way. Yeah, I think that's nice. Again, you can see the tempos, how it looks. Pretty nice, pretty solid, plastic, good. And of course, the transformation is easy as pie. I don't know if pie is easy. That's just the first thing that came to my mind. Kind of hungry, but let's get these guys transformed. So we'll do this guy first. They both transform basically almost the same. So here's where the gun stores on both. And what you do with that is it folds. And it's easier to do it while you're transforming because it doesn't really fit into here. But I will pull it out because you can't get it. It has these pegs like this little eye peg, and it fits in that little eye thing right there, if you can see that. It just goes in there and then it folds up. The gun actually folds on both sides. I don't know how I like that because it often gets out of whack, but it's easy to fold it back down. So I mean, minor complaint. But you can take the gun out, set it to the side, and move him over. So this is his transformation. You can unpeg these right here and get these legs. The legs are down here, so there's two pegs in the back that peg up into there. So you can pull this kind of out. You can move these down here after you unpeg it, and this you're supposed to turn around, but I don't like it turned around, so I will show you why in a minute when we get it right. There's some peg, you can separate these legs back here to get them apart. and then you can kind of move it down. You know what? You might want to move these out first. So you can move these out. I don't remember doing that. My bad. You can move these out first. I don't remember moving them out first, but hey. Then you can move this, put this down. I keep forgetting that thing too. And then that goes up. These two pipes got a little space where it can go. So there it go. And then you can move these legs down here. These things become like knee pads, which is great. And then you can kind of, there's this joint in here that you can get so the legs are closer together, and then you have room to work. Now legs are really easy. You can pull this down, and then you can pull this right here out like that. Move this around here. Pull this down here out of this. Move this thing around here, and then push this up, and it pegs on to the side here. This you don't have to move around. You just move the thing back. Again, over here, move this down, move this out. You can move this out, move this little piece right here around here, and then this pegs onto the side right there, if you got it straight. And then you know the knees here, and then you can just move this back and get the feet where you need it. There you go with the feet. Now we're up here. You can pull these arms apart and kind of down. You can pull this up because it's pegged on these three pegs. And then you can pull these arms out and out like that. This you can just flip around to reveal his head. And you can flip this all around. This thing right here just completes the look right here. Then these, you move down like that, and then move these up, and they fill in this space right here and tab on. Same thing over here. Move this down like that, and then move this up, tab that into that space. And then you get these arms where you need them. They move down like this, they move out like this, and then you can move the fist down, and then this little piece goes in and pegs like right there just to cover it up. Then you just got to move the arm where you can to have it in a normal fashion. Move that down here, pull this out, tab that, and it's already in where you need it to be. And then you can move this. This is what I'm talking about. This right here is supposed to peg on to these pegs. But if you move this how you're supposed to, it moves up like this. I guess you can move it like that. Will it work? Oh yeah, it does. It still works like that. So it moves out a little longer. Maybe I didn't have it out as far as it should have been before, but before it was like up and it wouldn't tab in. But now you can tab this in. Wait, maybe I'm right. I think you gotta like really, yeah, there you go. You gotta really tab it in. You can like move this piece around and then tab that in, and that's what keeps the head thing from moving all over the place. And then we're in business. Take his gun, move his arm around. I never moved his arm around over here because then you can see where the fists are. Then you can put his gun in. And there he is in full robot mode. Move him over and get this guy. Almost exactly the same. So let's see if I can do it a little smoother this time. Enter the smooth jazz portion.
So I guess my mic wasn't feeling the smooth jazz portion. It went out, so I will do the rest of this with, it comes back on, but I'm gonna voice over the rest of this video. Like I said, this is almost exactly like the first one. So if this voiceover doesn't do the trick, just look at the first one. You can kind of figure it out. So take the gun out there,
And then you want to get these sides out. So you want to open that, pull these sides out. There's like a little tab on the tread that you got to get it over. So you pull that out to the side. I remembered this time. I'm showing that tab. So then you can fold the legs down once you pull that out. I'm pulling this out because you got to pull that out in order to not fold the legs down, but in order to move the legs around, you need to pull that out. So then you fold the legs down into themselves, and there I go trying to pull the waist around. Sometimes I forget, so pull the leg out to the side, push that little panel out, and you pull this little piece out of the tab. It's a little tight, but the leg split in like 3 places. So that where I just turned it, you turn it, not at the ankle. Do it again, pull the foot down, pull that little piece down, then you turn it right there, line it up, push the feet back up, and then you tab this in. As long as you have it straight and it tabs in, and the legs are pretty much done. So then you can flip this stuff up here, so you can get all of this together. Now you want to pull these arms apart like before, and you can flip all of this over and it reveals the head. Make sure the body's all the way up, so then that piece will fit like this. Then you can spin this around the waist, and that right there, you don't really have to pull it out to spin it around. I found out later. I thought you did. And so you pull this piece down and you fill in the sides just like with the other guy. Same over here. Pull this down, fill in the sides with that. It fills out the chest area. So then you just get the arms together where you need them. Pull that down, pull this out. You can tell because the waffles, there are waffles, so it's inside. You want that inside and not outside. And you pull the fist down and flip that little panel back. And there you go. Do the other side the same. Move that down. Like I said, the arm, because the arm bends both ways at the elbow. So sometimes you can make a mistake. But like I did just there. Then you put that panel in. And like I said, the waffles you don't want on the outside. Then you can push this up here and it just goes back into where it was. There's a little peg. It's not the greatest peg. You see me struggling a little bit. And then you move this up. I'm not sure what's the best way. You can do it either way. You can do it any way you want to. How I had it was out of box, but you can flip it around like that if you like it a little less down, the bucket part, the shovel. But I leave it like this, how it is in the directions. And this you can fold up either way. It doesn't really matter, but it just gives enough clearance. You can put it like that as well if you want that behind his head, but then there's not as much clearance to spin his head around. Now we grab his gun, put his gun in his hand. I like putting it in the opposite hand if they're going to stand side by side. Just a pet peeve of mine. I don't know why. Well, mainly because when I pose on the shelves, I don't like the guns. They're usually big, so they touch and mess up the poses. So here they are. And here is the other guys together. I'm going to compare them. Didn't realize my mic was out this long. So the voiceover continues. So we have compare these guys together, and I think they look good together. They are the same color for one. I think there's a contention sometimes they can be slightly off, but they look good, and they're a little bit smaller than the other two. I don't have the first two again, so I can't tell you how big they are compared to them. But I'm going to do articulation with one of these guys. And I'll do articulation if there's a discrepancy between articulation, but most of it's the same. And these are just the guns. Pull them out, show the guns up close. They're pretty similar. They have a little bit of different stylings at the top, but work similarly the same with the bending. And there's like a little hatch. It kind of looks like a tank hatch almost at the top of them. And they have the magnets so they can light the lights in the eyes. And I do like that. I love that they give you batteries which is great. I wish more companies would if they had batteries. I understand why they don't, because of shipping and customs and all of that, but I think they get through customs fine because they're not installed. They're in plastic bags. So I think that's fine. At least it seems like it. So if more companies would do that, that would be great. I doubt any companies are watching my videos, but I say that. Articulation, we have the heads. Both their heads get the 360. His head goes up. I was trying to see if his head goes up more, but it doesn't really. They go up, but his head goes around easier. This guy, his head does get stuck a little bit in the back on that piece back there. So the arm goes all the way up. It's 2 joints. So it has the joint that goes all the way up. So you can get him to the sky. And he has another joint. You saw it. It's double jointed at that shoulder. And then it bends. That's that double joint right there. 360 all the way around. You got the bicep swivel right there. There is the waffle that I talked about earlier. But hey, $85 for 2 figures. You get the elbow bend. That gives you a pretty nice joint there. I think I was checking to make sure their bends are the same. Yeah, they're pretty much the same bend in the arm, and they have the same joints. So there's that. Then you have the hand. The hand spins around. It's stagnant, closed fist. And it has the 5mm peg. That is a 5mm peg. So you have the waist. The waist does get stuck a tiny bit. It does
hit up here
with that,
a little bit.
You know, the front of the shovel, the bulldozer front. Crunch. Then you get the ab crunch there. So that's pretty good. But you do have to fiddle with the stuff in the back. Here. It gets stuck on the leg, and it can hit some stuff, especially if you have it turned around backwards. Like,
but all this stuff back here, this is one of the reasons why I just
like this.
That. I mean, that's a
if you have it like that, you can kind of get it out the way a little better, but it still gets stuck. And this thing
easier to handle
comes undone. It's not the greatest connection for those. It does peg in, but it like I said, it's not the greatest connection. The splits, he cannot.
They have like a double joint, so they go out about
he gets out about that far. I think it's enough.
Great articulation, but still, in the legs, but
can't do the splits. The hurdles he definitely can do, and they're on ratchets.
He does.
I think your legs are all on ratchets. Yeah, they're all on ratchets. I can tell by the way I'm moving it. I'm trying to remember.
Right here.
You got the cut swivel right there. I'm seeing if that's removable, but it's not really. But then you have a knee pad that you can move up, and that gets out the way in case you need a different type of pose. And the knee joint, I do like the knee joint because it looks like treads.
I think die
and it's I believe it's die cast. At least it's, if it's not solid die cast, it's hollow die cast. It is die cast, but it does feel a little lighter than normal die cast. Then you have the ankle that spins all the way around. You go all the way down for the toe tilt. Toe up is a tad bit, but you get the rocker fully.
And I do like the ankle
enough, and I do like the ankle joint as well. It just doesn't look like it's split. They actually have like a round joint in there.
I think this guy.
I think I was trying to see if the waist. He has better waist swivel spin because you can get him all the way around, and it doesn't really. It does have stuff back here, but you can get that stuff out the way a little easier than the other guy. And he has his waist bend.
Everything else is about the same.
Whatever you want to call it, and the same.
Yeah, everything else
basically the same.
The knee,
and his knee gets all the way up because there's not a lot of stuff in his back. So that is a little better range than the other guy.
Yeah, everything else is the same.
And they're basically the same everywhere else.
So yeah, that's pretty much it for these guys. If you enjoyed this review, please leave me a like, subscribe, and share, and I will get up with y'all in the next video. Peace.
You know, life ain't over, life ain't over, life ain't over. As long as you alive, you can give another try and take it real high if you want it.